Hey, my handsome ladies and gentlemen, this is Shmeaty. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. We're going to be taking a look today at a team that I constructed over the weekend after I was done trying to make Poniard work in the Love Cup. It was super fun, it did have some interesting core breaking potential, and did have a lot more success than I was expecting, but past the 2600 2500 elo range, it didn't work as much as I would have liked for it to. So we made an iteration on the team with now a MEDICHAM lead as opposed to the Poniard, and the results absolutely came through as we were able to push past the expert threshold once again, going up to ending the day I believe at 2754 elo. And let's just take a look at how we were able to do that. We're going to lead MEDICHAM into a Shmeaty, and that Shmeaty's absolutely going to be on the fast move of counter, so they're going to be switching out into their Galarian Slowbro, and this is how you play this team. If they safe switch their Galarian Slowbro, they're probably not going to be in a good spot. The reason being is because you can throw an Ice Punch with your MEDICHAM, Poison Jab their Galarian Slowbro into Brutal Swing range, and just always take switch advantage. This particular trainer played this out very perfectly in the way that they no shielded the Brutal Swing, and so I have to give up a shield because I would get farmed down there, or I would get taken out with their Brutal Swing, I should say. But even still, we're in a very nice spot here because it's ABA counter, and now our Skeledirge is in a massively good position to sweep this endgame. They are on Snarl on their Shmeaty, and the fact that we're able to get the Shmeaty back out is just a massive W for us, because now MEDICHAM's going to come back in, and MEDICHAM's going to have an absolutely awesome time just dealing with the Shmeaty. Shmeaty's got 2 shields, but not much health, and we're just going to start firing off these Ice Punches. Reason being is because Shmeaty kind of has to shield here. I really like going for these Ice Punch baits in positions where the opposing trainer really has to shield. They're going to bring in their MEDICHAM, and at this point, I think we just leave it all on the Skeledirge. Skeledirge is going to come in here, look for a massive Incinerate farm down, and the reason for the massive Incinerate farm... Oh, the catch onto the Galarian Slowbro will absolutely seal this game. The Psychic is caught, and we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to get Psychic on our Skeledirge. This is most likely going to be another Psychic, but this is never the move that we shield. We would only ever commit a shield if they did make a foul play, which it looks like this trainer is going to concede this match. GG's. Getting into the next game, it's going to be MEDICHAM leading into Tyrantrum. Now this is a pretty interesting lead. Without counter, this is not the best situation for MEDICHAM to be in, as the Tyrantrum does a massive amount of damage, but they are going to save switch into a Clefable, and Clefable's save switch is a little sus. I'm feeling it could be double fairy. We're going to get Meteor Mash, and that does a massive amount of damage. We're going to go for the Scald onto the Clefable here, and they are going to unfortunately be able to make another move, but we get the debuff. The debuff there is pretty nice for us. Are we going to be able to survive? Yes, it's just going to be a Swift, and we're going to let them get a little more farm there, and this actually allows us to burn our switch timer. So when the Tyrantrum comes back in, we try to commit to a Brutal Swing. Unfortunately, it's not to be. We're just going to keep alignment here because we'd much rather this not be on our Skeledirge, and we're just going to fire off these Ice Punches. In comes the opposing Incinerate user, I suppose. It's going to be a Talonflame. No shielding is going to be a little bit of a problem, but they only have 1 Incinerate head start. And that being said, this is just a really good spot for us. In this particular situation, I don't like baiting here, but I think this just guarantees the game. This is going to be a fly. They need to Brave Bird me to KO, and we're just going to be able to make another Disarming Voice here. I think I had this Shadow Ball. I guess I was just a bait merchant this game. Absolute baiting gremlin is Shmeaty. And now this Talonflame is just in farm down range. So they're going to have to bring back in the Tyrantrum, but Tyrantrum's rapidly running low on HP here. They're going to fire off a move here. It's going to be a Crunch. The Crunch will, of course, get the debuff because I'm Shmeaty. I have no luck. And now I'm going to fire off an Ice Punch at the Tyrantrum, and Tyrantrum is very glassy. It's going to get one-shot by that Ice Punch from the range it's at. Talonflame comes in, but does not have a move bank, so an Ice Punch is also going to KO the Talonflame. GG's. Let me know how you guys have been feeling about the Love Cup, because I know a lot of people hated it, a lot of people loved it. I thought it was pretty fun. It actually had me starting to make multiple videos per week, so hey, I guess I can't complain about it. It's evidenced by the amount of content that's been out on my channel that I had a good time. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying the rotation as well. Unfortunately, with the Great League Limited meta that's been going on for 2 weeks and the Master League, they could probably have better ideas, but nevertheless, we're yapping. We're going to bring in our Galarian Slowbro. After landing an Ice Punch onto the opposing Medicham, they're going to fire off an Ice Punch onto our Galarian Slowbro, and now we have a pretty sizable energy lead, where even though they bring in an Alomomola and we are chipped, we're in a pretty decent position here to just fire off these Brutal Swings on good timing and try to chip away at the Alomomola. Alomomola is just a really annoying Pokemon in this cup. I'm sure you are all very well aware. And this is a little bit of an awkward spot. I'm just going to let this go. It's going to be the Psychic. And for the first time ever, Alomomola is able to KO something with a Psychic. We're going to fire off a Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch onto the Alomomola. We go for the Undercharge, looking for the Farm Down, and Alomomola gets farmed down. That's actually a pretty nice play. They're going to bring in, I don't even know what that was, I didn't even see. It's going to be an Ice Punch landing onto a Slowbro of the Cantonian variety. This is a very spicy pick. We're going to fire off a Disarming Voice onto the Shadow Slowbro. Shadow Slowbro's 100% going to shield here, because they can't even risk taking a Disarming Voice, because then they would just get incinerated down. They try for the catch, but Medicham on counter is not going to be able to make a move. We go for the Disarming Voice, looking for another Undercharge to try to maximize our farm. Maybe get another Incinerate and maybe make another Disarming Voice here. But that's not to be. We're spamming our button for our Medicham, and unfortunately we weren't able to switch in. But that's perfectly fine. Scald is going to come through, but with no debuff. That means that this Dynamic Punch is going to hit for 100% the normal damage and KO the Shadow Slowbro. GG's. In the next game, it's going to be Medicham leading into Clefable. I saw a couple of these, and Clefable's not really the best spot, but we are ABB strong to Clefable, so we are going to just bring in the Galarian Slowbro and fire off a Scald immediately. Scald onto the Licky counter switch. He's going to get the debuff, and that is a massive spot for me to be in. I'm going to no-shield whatever this is, and they're going to body slam bait this trainer, making every misplay imaginable, and now we're going for the CMP tie. We threw 3 poison jabs, which is a CMP tie to the Licky's next move. At this point, I think our Slowbro has play in the back, so we are going to put up a shield, and it is going to be correct as they go for the 1 HP Earthquake, and it's going to be an Alomomola in the back once again. Fortunately, our Skeleturge gets to steer clear away from this Pokemon, and this is actually so good for us. I would much rather not have Skeleturge here. We're going to overfarm as much as we can and just fire off the Brutal Swing at the last second. We're going to get taken out by that next Waterfall, but now in comes Medicham, and Medicham has something to say to this Alomomola. Alomomola is going to have a whole bunch of energy here. They go for the Hydro Pump. Not the best scenario for us, but now we're going to bring in the Skeleturge into the Clefable, and Clefable, unless for some reason it's running Psychic, is fully walled with its usual moveset. They're going to fire off the Moonblast. I guess fully walled is a bit of a strong term, because that Moonblast does 50% to our Skeleturge, but that's alright. We're going to go for the Disarming Voice, and they no-shield for some reason. This Pokemon was very likely this trainer's win con, and they did not play to it. They're going to fire off another Moonblast, and now it's all on Medicham. Medicham is going to be forced to go for an Ice Punch bait here. We are not going to make enough moves. Are they going to shield up the bait? They shield up the Ice Punch bait. We are in a good spot. We're going for 4 more Psycho Cuts and another Ice Punch, but we're not at a Dynamic Punch yet. Medicham running dangerously low on HP. We're 1 off the Dynamic Punch, and they get the farm down. GG's. Getting into the next game, and what a fantastic lead. Psycho Cut Medicham into a Licky. They don't even fast move check. That's a bad matchup regardless, so they're going to switch out immediately into their Galarian Slowbro, but since we have the tech, we can easily go for the Ice Punch and bring in our Galarian Slowbro once again, putting this Galarian Slowbro in range of Brutal Swings with our Poison Jabs and the Ice Punch. And that's why it's very important, no matter the league that you're playing in, to have a game plan for the common leads, safe switches, etc. because it allows you to game plan out and kind of have a little bit of an advantage for somebody that's kind of just freestyling. We're going to fire off another brutal swing here, and we will always be able to dictate switch advantage no matter what they want to do here. They're most likely just going to fire off their brutal swing immediately here, which is fine by me. Here, I believe I'm going to try to wait the turn, but waiting a turn here is... Oh, wait, it actually works. We're able to see the licky switch in, and unfortunately for this trader, this is just not looking too good. They probably thought I was going to zero brain, throw my brutal swing immediately. But yeah, this is just a really tough spot for them. Even if this is a Shadow Ball just does not KO Medicham. Medicham is just too bulky for that, and now they're going to be forced to go for a Body Slam. Body Slam will absolutely pick up the knockout here, and now I have a decision. I'm just going to bring in the Skeleturge. Skeleturge looking for the farm down on the licky. They commit to the Shadow Ball, not quite able to get it. And now, what does the trader want to do? They bring in their own Skeleturge, looking to catch my Shadow Ball onto their Galarian Slowbro. Unfortunately for them, we waited the turn, and fortunately for us, the game is actually updating. Hopefully, that is a consistent pattern for the rest of these games, but GG's nonetheless. Getting into the next game, it's going to be Medicham leading into a Beware. Now this guy's already at Legend, evidently just trying to have a little bit of fun running the Beware. They're going to switch out into an Alomomola, and Alomomola is going to have to take this Dynamic Punch, and we're going to throw it immediately because throwing on 6 is 12 turns. They took 1 turn to switch, and through 4 Waterfalls, which is 12 turns, plus 1 is 13, so we're able to preserve good timing by throwing 12 turns into 13. I know, I'm doing way too much math, dude. I'm Shmeaty. Why am I talking like this? Nevertheless, they're going to be able to reach a move here. I just think I never shield, and they're going to go for the Psychic, but now they're in a spot where they're just going to get farmed down, and Slowbro has an ungodly amount of energy here. They're going to bring back in the Beware. We're only going to be able to make 1 move, but I think our play here is just never pivoting. I thought about it, and you saw me kind of tapping the Medicham button, but I decided against it. Bring in the Skeleturge. It's an Ariados in the back. GG's. Getting into the next game, it's going to be Psycho Cut Medi leading into a Licky, and Licky is pretty fine to see on lead, and this one is opting to stay in, making me believe that they may not want to see Medicham in their backline. That's perfectly fine. We can just preserve the Medicham, fire off this Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch does a lot of damage onto the Licky. I wouldn't be surprised to see them throw a move here. They throw their energy on alignment, which gives me a free Psycho Cut. They fire off the Hyper Beam, massive damage onto my Medicham, and they're going to be able to make a Body Slam here because I get overzealous, unfortunately, and look for good timing there. We're just going to bank all of that Medicham energy and just tell them to deal with it. They're going to bring in a Miltank, so this has to be an ABA team of sorts. I would imagine a Galarian Slowbro would be the third. Most likely it's Galarian Slowbro third. Reason being is because they kind of need a counter resist, and that's probably the most flexible counter resist in the meta, so that would make the most sense to me. Nevertheless, they're going to fire off a move here. Thunderbolt is just not going to save them as we are getting clutch Skull debuff after clutch Skull debuff. We're going for the Undercharge on the Brutal Swing, looking to bring in the Skeleturge for the 1 Incinerate running head start. And now in comes the Galarian Slowbro as expected. We are down a shield here, but you know what? I think they're going to expect me to click on the pink move, but I'm clicking on the purple move, and unfortunately, they're going to shield up my Shadow Ball. Not the best spot for me, and we're just going to let this move go. Calling a Brutal Swing bait. It's going to be a Surf. Massive damage. In comes the Licky, and now we're actually in a pretty awkward spot because they still have a shield here. We do land an Incinerate. That Incinerate damage is going to be massive for us, and now we do have a lot of energy banked on our Medicham. We get to the last second Brutal Swing. We were 1 Poison Jab away. I thought we had it banked. Brutal Swing grabs their shield, and Medicham, all the energy that we banked early on in the game after eating a Hyper Beam, is going to pay dividends as we're going to be able to make the double Ice Punch. And Ice Punch number 2 with no shields remaining is going to be a clean KO. GG's. We've reached the final game of the video, and it's going to be Medicham leading into Milotic. This is a pretty interesting pick. I really would have liked to run it myself. Unfortunately, I did not have a good one. I thought I did, and then I checked my storage, and the one I thought was good was super garbage. Nevertheless, we're going to fire off a dynamic punch. Milotic, very bulky, able to eat that dynamic punch no problem at all, and fire off a move of their own. Now this could have only been a surf, so shielding here is a little bit of a misplay, but that's perfectly fine. We're going to fire off another dynamic punch and see if they just want to take their shield advantage, but unfortunately for us, they are not going to do that, and now they're going to fire off a move at our Medicham. I'm going to no-shield this, knowing this can only be another surf, bank all this energy on the Medicham. I was really hoping that they would just sit there and let me farm them down, but as you climb in ELO, plays like that are a lot less common. So we're going to bring in the Galarian Slowbro, fire off a Scold at the incoming Miltank. No debuff here means that we are going to get KO'd by the double Thunderbolt though. Thunderbolt number 1, a lot of damage onto the Galarian Slowbro, but that was too fast. That's not a Thunderbolt, that's just going to be a Body Slam, and we are outside of Body Slam range, just barely. One more Poison Jab into the Brutal Swing is going to connect on to this Miltank, and our switch is up. We're bringing in the Skeledirge. They switch at the same time as us, and now Skeledirge is going to be able to make a move, but not before the Slowbro is able to make a move. Slowbro firing off the Brutal Swing bait. Brutal Swing not going to be enough damage. We fire off one more Incinerate, and we're clicking on the purple move once again, and they call the pink move. Down goes the Galarian Slowbro. In comes the Milotic, but unfortunately for us, our switch timer isn't up after this Disarming Voice, so they're going to get the full farm down of our Skeledirge here. And this is going to be very tough. This is a really difficult endgame to play out of. We bring in the Medicham. Our move doesn't show up. A CMP tie to guarantee KOing this Milotic would have been massive for us. We're going to wait the turn. The game doesn't update. Fortunately, they don't catch onto the Miltank. The Dragon Tail's not going to register because we only made one turn. And now I believe this Miltank is 2 off of a move. So we switch into the Galarian Slowbro, and this game is now ours. We're going to be able to throw 2 Psycho Cuts and the Ice Punch to make the absolute last second move to KO the Miltank. What a game. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. And my apologies for putting out a team that works at the tail end of the season, or at the tail end of the rotation, I should say. It's by no means intentional. I was just trying teams out, and this one happened to work a lot. So I wanted to report to you guys that I was able to get back over the expert threshold with this team, and we're going to try to continue the climb. Nevertheless, let me know what you guys thought of the Love Cup rotation in the comments below. I certainly had a lot of fun running super spicy stuff like XL Shadow Hundo Dwebble, and level 50 Poniard was super interesting, but I'm sure that's not a consensus, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. On the topic of the leagues rotating, however, since the leagues will be rotating to the Great, Ultra, and Master League Open, please feel free to respond to the poll that should be up by now, and if you guys want either of these 3 leagues to be featured on the channel, please feel free to let me know. Respond to the poll, and I'd be happy to feature whatever you guys want to see. With all that being said, thanks once again so much for watching. I've been Shmeaty. I hope to see you guys again next time, and have a good rest of your day. Bye.